so much fucked up shit to get into. Welcome back to Little Stinkers, baby. I'm Michael fucking Rainey, here with Jon Delcollo.
Hello, Mike.
Dan Soder.
What's up, guy?
Jacob Furman, Mattera.
Hey.
Jeff Simmons. My dear friend Dan suggested a stinker for today's episode a year ago, and we're finally going to touch on him. And to celebrate our touching on him, Dan, I want to present you with that book, Touched by Jerry Sandusky.
This is something that will never be on me as a person.
Well, your prints are already on it.
Yeah, my prints are all over. This thing's lousy with my prints.
And it's co-written by a guy named Kip Ryle, who is a little wheelchair weirdo.
Is he?
Here's the deal. It's like after Sandusky got popped, they interviewed this guy, and he had every opportunity to just break ties with him, and he just would not do it. So
He
this
went
guy,
down with the ship.
he did. And on top of that, too, he's a guy he was born without a left hip. So he's sitting on the lean in the wheelchair.
Dude, that's kind of sick, though.
And he's got little tiny arm legs.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Arm legs.
Like
Yeah.
his legs are like little arms?
Yeah, it's like you woke up late for like a presentation that you had for school, and you were just like, "Mom, what do we have?"
Yeah. Does he look like that character in that do you remember when what's the song? What was the Mr. Show? Do you remember when the kid was burnt in the
Ronnie.
hospital?
Ronnie. Yeah.
Does he look like Ronnie?
Yes, he does. He's
Okay.
a little very Ronnie-like.
Is it like a Wienerville kind of thing?
Yeah. Thank you for fighting through that layer of resin that's around my brain for me to get to it. Dude, what's crazy about this is I thought this book was after the shit went down because it's called Touched. But there's so many clues,
Dude.
all over this book.
Before we get too carried away, we don't know who we're going to be doing for this episode.
So, Dan, what we normally do is John hates doing fucked up people
I don't
that
like
have
true
committed
crime.
crimes.
I like the impractical jokers. So I flip
yeah.
a coin every week.
Okay.
Let's make sure Dan didn't fuck up the boing. Yeah.
Boing works. Thank God.
Sometimes when new people come in, the boing.
So we have yet to get an Impractical Jokers episode.
I
So
flip this
luck's
coin
been
every
on my
week.
side.
It's an OJ slammer.
I love it. I was wondering if it was a slammer. I was
Yep.
going to ask that.
Yeah.
It's a slammer of OJ and the slammer. Lord be with me. How funny it would be if I won the toss.
Today's Impractical Jokers Day.
We're talking Sandusky, baby. We did it
Lucky
again,
ducks.
Jakes.
I wouldn't
Look at
have
us.
minded, dude. I could have gotten Sal on the phone. We could have just done it.
Oh my God. No. That would be so funny.
I was giving you a different world. In the multiverse, we have Sal on the phone on speaker.
Well, you'll have to come on again then.
Yeah. For another flip.
Dude, we almost went into the Joker verse for you.
Oh my God.
Wow.
I'm not going to be present for the rest of this episode.
But I am delighted to talk about Jerry Arthur Sandusky.
The
Incredible.
guy, I mean, can I just read
Please
something
do.
that I read off the back of the
Yes.
book? Which is crazy. It's a quote by Jack McCallum from Sports Illustrated. And he says, "Here's the best thing you can say about Jerry Sandusky. He's the main reason that Penn State is linebacker U. And linebackers aren't even his enduring legacy." My friend, how correct you are. If I am, dude, I swear to God, if I'm Jack McCallum, I'm like, can I have one quote back?
Dude, it's so funny you bring that up, Dan, because I was reading a ton of articles about him, and even before this popped, people were really struggling to say nice things about him. Even one of his kids, EJ, he had 6 of them. They were either adopted or they were foster kids. And his son EJ, they asked him, like, how could you best describe your dad? And he's like, he is a frustrated playground director.
Wow.
His own son, that's the best that he can come up with.
Did he have any kids of his own blood?
They couldn't have kids.
Okay. Just throwing this out there. Is this like a fucked up version of the movie Up, where instead of his wife dies and that old man just gets crotchety, he gets really good at 4-3 defenses and starts fucking kids that aren't his because his wife can't have kids? I wish I was good at animation to do an Up beginning, but instead it's Sandusky ruining the lives of over 50 men.
But there are a lot of balloons in those situations.
That's how he got him in the door.
Come on.
He gets out his dead wife's book and just starts flipping through the defense spreads.
It's all pictures, and you're like, they just do that music to it, where you're like, it is touching, but in a different way.
But dude, relative to the title of the book, Touched, in the book, he says the Second Mile, his organization, has touched over 51,000 kids at the time of that.
That is, you know what's crazy is there is a picture on the back of this book of him, and it says Jerry and his Second Mile kids. The girls look fine. The boys don't. He's grabbing two guys by the back of their necks.
He actually is.
And they're like,
oh my God.
It's this phase. When someone, you're like,
Whoa,
shit.
dude, yeah, those are.
See what I mean?
The Second Mile kids?
Yeah, the Second Mile kids, the girls are like, it's all right.
Yeah.
And the boys are like, just please don't leave me alone.
He affectionately refers to them as the Mile High Club.
Yeah.
Do you guys remember
when I get you in the Mile High Club? Look at the kid in the front, dude. Look at the kid in the front and tell me that's not a defeated boy.
I know, man.
Oh, man.
Oh, my poor sons of bitches.
Do you guys remember the interviews he did? He did one with Bob Costas and a subsequent interview with the New York Times, and they explicitly asked, do you find young boys attractive? And he just could not say no.
Really?
Jesus
He's like,
Christ,
his answer?
dude. I love
just
a
can't
man
say
who
no.
can't lie.
Yeah. He goes, what are we talking about? Them fresh out the pool?
He's got his fingers behind his back. They're like, all right, Jerry, are those fingers crossed behind your back?
Yes.
It's like, I have arthritis. I've been a linebacker.
You're crossing your eyes, Jerry. I can see it. Ooh, I don't know. Is it fresh after a nice wrestle sesh in the front yard? And you go, yeah. You go,
He has all the scenarios ranked. That's great.
top hot. Yeah. When kids are high off a birthday party. That's when you want to catch them. They got the energy. They got the sugar from the cake running through their blood.
That post-candle glow.
Post-candle glow. There's still there's the smell of birthday candles on them. The smell of birthday candles in their hair.
They don't know what's in those presents.
Oh, take me back. Like a foodie talking about pasta in Rome. He's like, oh.
Bob Costas still waiting for it. Yes or no.
Coach Sandusky. Coach Sandusky. And he's going, I don't know, a fresh batch right out of a first viewing of Jurassic Park. Just boys talking dinos. Scoop up about 2 or 3. It's like Lay's potato chips. You can't just have one. Yeah, that is fucking wild.
He was a massive wrestler, though. And there's 2 points that I wanted to...
Was he an actual wrestler?
He was not. Actually, I will say this. He was just an athlete as a kid, and his parents ran a youth center.
Okay.
So there was always sports.
But if he does have... You know how in UFC and in MMA, they're always like, the best base training you can have is being a wrestler?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. They're always like, that's the best. I think it's the worst for a pedophile.
Yeah.
If you're like, he can get you down, he'll single leg shoot you and it is over. You know, like imagine if, I saw a tweet one time that changed the way I look at the world, but someone was like, imagine if horses were carnivores. Like how scary that
I'm
would
already
be.
scared of them, and they just eat the fucking sausages out of my cooler on Assateague Island.
But imagine if like horses
terrifying.
needed meat. Is like imagine if Kurt Angle was a pedophile.
Jesus.
And you would be like just little kids getting double, you know? Like,
Yeah, I mean, at best, you want your molester to have like a karate base.
Yeah.
Like you do not want...
Yeah. You want him to take a stance that you're like, with a weapon, I can do a lot of damage about this.
Dan, can you read the caption on this picture right here relative to your wrestling point?
Oh my God. All right. It says, I am joined by national wrestling champion Jim Martin, left, and Bobby White after a high school benefit involving pudding wrestling.
What the fuck? Is this really a fucking book, dude?
This guy.
The man's covered in pudding. What do you think?
Yeah, I was wondering if it was mud wrestling. That's
It
pudding.
looks like they just struck oil. That's what they look like. They're all standing. I mean, him going like, I don't know if it's the kids or the pudding.
Yeah, there will
That's
become...
the most delicious benefit I've ever been to.
Is that benefit still happening? I just want to register.
Welcome to. He's got a gold belt on. He goes, I won that. That's the pudding wrestling championship.
I drink your
table for
10-year-old
4 for 1.
milkshake.
Table for 4 for 1 is great.
Oh, dude, this book he's dropping clues nonstop in this
I mean,
fucking book.
he almost is like, it really is like a serial killer. He's like bragging about
What year is the book from?
1999, the year that he retired. So he wrote numerous books about linebacking.
But he still hung out at Penn State after that, before he got caught.
Well, isn't
right?
that where he got caught a couple times, right?
Yeah.
What was the shower one?
So that was the Mike McQuery one. That was in 2001. Now,
So it's after he retires.
yeah. And dude, he was given emeritus status, which they normally give to like professors, the esteemed people. But for some reason, they granted it to him. So he had every access that he had when he was a school employee, which was odd.
Damn.
But he got in trouble in '98 when he took one of his Second Miles kids to the showers there. He admitted to wrestling him, and he admitted to taking him in the shower. And
that was not national news when that was?
No, dude,
Did they cover? Was there like an active cover up on that first one, or were they like, you know, when you like someone close to you, you start seeing they have a problem with drugs or alcohol,
Yeah.
and the first time you do it, you go like, that's not a big deal, whatever.
Yeah.
They got fucking, so what? They screamed at someone at the family barbecue.
yes.
So what?
Too many.
Yeah. Was it that where they were like, hey, Jerry's wrestling boys, you know? I don't know. He's super into Spartan culture.
Dude, it was reported to police because the kid came home, his hair was wet, and the kid's mom noticed a change in his demeanor. And she's like,
Well,
what happened?
yeah.
And she finally got it out of him. He's like, Coach Sandusky wrestled me and took me into the shower. So she contacted police. They contacted CYS. Now, CYS in Center County, PA, they had contracts with the Second Mile. They would refer kids for their residential program.
Oh God.
They're like a feeder system.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Christ,
Dude, so if you're like a delinquent, they're like, you're going to the Second Mile, and you're like, what is
No,
it?
take me to fucking jail, dude.
Yeah, dude, I'll go do hard time. 'Cause you're giving me another kind of hard time that I don't want. Dude, that's just wild. That's like hellacious that they're like, all right, you truancy.
Yeah.
Now you got to go to this guy. And then they're like,
yeah.
I got to go get fucked by a guy. Yeah. You know what would be the worst? I mean, like, being a parent of one of these kids has got to be like the anger, the murderous rage you must feel.
Yeah.
But you know how much more it must suck if you're like a Michigan State fan? And you're like, we always had a problem with their defense. You know? And then you're like, and that guy fucked my kid. Like, if you were a Penn State fan, you'd be like, ooh, you know? That has got to be horrifying.
Now, if you were in that position, would you prefer to be diddled by a regular meat and potatoes pedophile?
No,
Or,
I want someone that I can like get into the
pedigree?
program. Yeah. I want something that you can hang your hat on.
Yeah,
And go
and
like,
at least write me a good recommendation for something else.
you go, actually, I know I told you all, you're telling your therapist, you go, besides me getting fucked at that pudding wrestling thing, though, I did get to meet Kajana Carter. And that was pretty cool. Like bringing it up. You know, you're like,
and by the way, I brought you back an Alamo Bowl hat.
I got this duffel bag from the Peach Bowl in '96. You know, like bring it up. Yeah, you don't want, the worst would be to get molested by a guy that was a loser.
Yes.
That's a guy that's like, yeah, he worked at Blockbuster and then he sucked my dick when I was 7. And you're like, You go, they don't even have those anymore. And you're like, I know. I know. It's like when you're ashamed to tell your friends girls you hooked up with, where you go like that and you go, her? And you go, I know. I was 7. He said he had the Gambit X-Men toy. That wasn't in stores at Toys R Us.
I would have done that for Gambit.
Yeah, me too, dude.
Yeah.
Especially
That was a
the
rarity.
second version with the thicker leather jacket.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Suck
that
me,
first
fuck
one
me,
ripped
turn
like
me
a-
over. I got a guy that can supercharge cars.
Mon ami, dude.
Yeah, dude. I'm trying to think of all the action figures I would have gotten stuffed for.
Anything by Jack specific?
Yeah, I really think there was a time when like Ninja Turtles, fresh out, when they first came out, and you had to order them out of like a magazine.
Yep.
Yeah.
I could have gotten fucking tossed around. You know, and then they would have handed me like a Michelangelo with the nunchucks, and I'd have been like, I can repress that.
Yeah. Letting everyone in your sewer.
Dude, that has got to be. I mean, like, I think the Second Mile kids that got referred via crime, it is very tragic. But I think it's almost got to be worse if you're like a kid and you're a fan of Penn State and your family's into Penn State,
Yeah.
and then you go and you get molested, because then there's this feeling of like, I'm going to bum everyone out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to bum everybody out when I tell them what happened to me. That's got to suck.
When the entire crowd yells, "We are," you quietly say, "Getting molested."
Yeah. Got molested by one of your favorites. So he was just at the school all the time.
Dan, he would take kids to this building, like the football fucking workout building. It's called the Lash Building. And there's all kinds of top-notch facilities there. And he was taking the kids there constantly. In 98, when that kid reported the incident to his mom, part of the deal was, like, the police did investigate, but they didn't have enough evidence to bring him up on charges. But I think it was a case of, like, they really did not want to push it any further than it already was.
You know what's interesting? I would love to see a layout of what Penn State's record was. Like, if they were cooking and they're like,
He's still helping
I
out.
don't know. We're close to closing in on a Big Ten title. Do we want to rock the boat? Because that's where it starts to get gross, where people are like putting that ahead of kids.
Yeah.
Yeah, how many people were witnesses? Like, actually saw, I know a lot of people knew, but there was like 3 instances of people walking in and seeing shit, right?
The 98 incident, there were 2 janitors who saw something fucked up. And they reported it to, like, the head janitor. And he's like, look, we're going to get
so
fired.
Funny. They still have the chain of command. Like, we can't report it straight to the president of the university.
I got to go, did you subvert your head janitor? And you go, I did, because it was the code blue.
Did you order the code brown?
You got order the code brown. Someone gets in the fucked in the shower, you go to your superior. But it's also funny to be like, man, that just some old black dude that's a janitor going,
Oh, hell no.
Jerry, fucking that boy. Just sweeping up, and he's like, ooh, Mr. Jerry, really fucking that boy ass.
Jingling 100 keys. Oh, man.
Ooh, I'm going home or else Loretta gonna kill me. But that boy getting fucked by Mr. Jerry.
I gotta get an extra mop.
Yeah. Ooh, I don't think this can pick up cum.
Well, dude, there was a
You
point where
together my mop hairs.
after the McQuery incident, he did describe it as rhythmic slapping. So imagine, like, you're a janitor and you hear a nice beat bopping.
That has got to be like, I remember my dad's friends, or like my friends' dads that were in Vietnam. Like, there would be certain things like firecrackers or like things dropping on the ground that would like really trigger their PTSD.
That would ruin a party.
That guy cannot watch porn with volume on the rest of his life. Because the second he hears it, he goes, oh, it's like, I always used to joke around about the kids after Jurassic Park. Like, we never think about the permanent psychological damage those kids went through. So, like, anytime water vibrates, that girl, like, pisses her pants. Even when she's, like, a 38-year-old PR assistant in Sacramento, and she's like, because she was at her grandpa's dino park. And you think about that guy, like, hears skin slapping, and he's like, there's a kid getting fucked in the shower. Because you hear that and you go, like, you think when you hear that, that like rhythmic slapping, that you're going to turn the corner and it's going to be like a beautiful woman being like, oh, you know, and you're like, oh, well, you know, and then the guy's like, you can watch if you want to, and he's like, that's kind of gross, but that woman's beautiful. And instead you're like, it's a kid, you're like, walking in on gay sex has to suck. Walking in on pedophilia, gay sex has to be like, no. Like the fall down the stairs of that.
What do you think is the most palatable act to walk in upon if you had to walk in on
Lesbian sex. Hot lesbian sex. You go like, what are you gals doing? You almost do it like when you find a puppy in the trash. Really, hey,
Who put you there?
How'd you get in here?
what are you guys? What are you slamming your pussies? What are you doing?
Hey, showers are closed at 5. What the hell?
And then the second most palatable, I think, is like a hot couple fucking.
Yeah.
Because then you go like, oh, cool. That's how you guys do it?
Yeah.
It's not so close and rabbit-like. You're taking long strokes. Below that, gorgeous gay men having sex.
Yeah.
Because then you go, whoa, it's athletic.
Yeah, they're just dudes having a good time, and they're both just really.
And then it's like ugly gay sex, and then you go like, you start getting
There's a
into
lot more until you get to walking in on pedophilia.
There's probably, I'm going to just throw out a number, 8 to 9 levels
I mean, I'm talking
of Dante's pedophilia.
I'd rather walk in man on beast, beast on man.
The dog. I would rather walk into that professor from Penn State that got his ass eaten by his dog than Sandusky slapping ass of a
I mean,
kid.
can anybody at the school have a normal sex scandal?
Yeah, they go like, that's their freakiness. Where he goes, you know what I really enjoy? Missionary sex with my wife. And they go, ew. Ew.
What kind of animals are in the room when
You're not putting little tadpoles in your pee hole? And he goes, how do you guys do here? They go, that's like the new thing. It's kind of like it's kind of like catching on now.
Wait,
but
where does pudding wrestling rank and all that stuff?
yeah, that's an aphrodisiac for all of that.
Yeah.
That gets you there.
Yeah.
Dude, that is so the janitor sees it. This is the first instance of there being a witness. 2 janitors see it, which thank God you have someone there to be like,
Yeah.
and you hope he's not like, oh. You just hope he's not like, let him go.
Let's see where this goes.
You're like, excuse me? He's like, sorry. But they take it to their boss, and then their boss is like, we're all going to get fired if we say anything.
Yeah.
Crazy.
That guy must feel a tremendous amount of weight.
I hope he
don't
killed
know.
himself by this point.
Yeah, because he truly is the one. Like, you know, in every disaster movie, that fucking nerd in the center that goes, guys, you might want to see this. And there's like something.
Giant tsunami coming.
There's a giant old penis.
There's a giant old dick coming to Central PA.
Oh, come tsunami.
Yeah, and then he's just like, guys. But he didn't do that. And then all those people got their lives ruined.
Yeah, dude, and it wasn't shortly after that. I guess it was 2001 was the McQuery incident where he walked in and that's the rhythmic slapping.
Oh,
Which is, what would you think if you walked into a locker room and heard rhythmic slapping? What would your
my mind would be like, let it be a hot couple.
Why are they doing music class in the shower?
Yeah. Or you think someone, I always said, I had my old roommate, Handsome Pete, Vecchione and I would always joke around because he would bring home like really hot women and they'd fuck, but you would hear them through the door and it always sounded like they just hung something up on the wall. They're like, and that's what you would hope.
like a pizza maker in the zone?
Yeah, is that someone just did tile work in the showers and then they're like,
Man, that is level.
That is a beautiful gallery wall.
Look at that. That fit perfectly. That's what you hope.
What was your boy's name again?
Pete.
Handsome.
Handsome Pete?
Handsome Pete.
Because Sandusky had a couple buddies with nicknames like that. He had Paulie Bird and he had Benny Biceps.
That's so funny.
Paulie Bird.
Yeah,
Paulie
which
Bird's pretty sus.
I don't think it means Eagles. I think he's talking about his penis.
Hey, Paulie Penis, get out of there. Get out of the
Doesn't roll off
shower.
the way Paulie Bird does.
How's your uncle been?
Yeah. Hey, Paulie Bird. Why you call him Bird? Pull it out.
Pull it out, feed us some bread.
I put that little worm in my mouth and then you take it out.
Yeah, dude. I mean, so that was the rhythmic slapping.
Yes.
Oy vey.
And McQuery says he heard it and then he saw the reflection of Sandusky having a kid pinned against the wall in the shower through the mirror that he was
I
looking
mean,
at.
that's like put a gun to the back of his head and blow his brains out.
Yeah.
Take him out in a chokehold. How do you fucking not end that
WWE
right there?
chair to the back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Back up. Get out of here.
That's Sandusky's music.
It's the coach and assistant. Dude, how great would that be? It would be the scene. It's a darker, but it's the exact scene from Home Alone when the shovel guy takes out Daniel Stern and Joe Pesci. Which, can we all admit, I've been saying this for years, they were going to fuck him if they caught him in Home Alone. That wasn't just going to be a murder. Those men they had done hard time. They were going to fuck Kevin McAllister.
Yeah.
Just not even in a sexual way, in a power way.
In the first one or the second one?
Second one, they had it real hard on for him. Second one, they stopped doing a big gig to go get him.
Yeah, they did go from the wet bandits to the sticky bandits, right?
Wait.
Yeah. That's the order of operations.
It's SOP, dude. That's how you go. But how do you not? It's similar to like the head janitor. How do you not immediately
The janitor
go?
thing is probably like, I need this job.
Yeah.
You know?
He's a janitor.
Yeah.
It's probably very important that he stay employed.
Yeah. But
that guy,
McQuery, how old was McQuery then? Was he like in his 20s?
20s or 30s at the time, because he was a Penn State quarterback at one point.
Okay.
That's the crazy thing. It's like the linebacker. It's like he was a former linebacker.
McQuery?
Yeah.
He was a quarterback.
Quarterback. All right, so he's offense. So you
Yeah,
don't
he
have
should
to
naturally be opposed to him.
Yeah, you should be like, hey.
Yeah.
You should have picked up a football and gone, this is the best pass you're ever going to need to make. Just puts it on a rope to the back of Sandusky's head. And instead it hits the kid and knocks the kid out.
They're writing the numbers.
Hey, his ass went limp. I needed him up. You fucker, you made him a dead fish. Yeah. That is... How do you walk away from
Ass
that?
went limp.
How do you fucking walk away from that? As a man.
I mean, that dude as well, after not reporting it, should have fucking hung himself at this point.
I wonder how dark of a hole that guy was in after all this came out. Because it was 0-1, and then he didn't say anything.
Well, dude, he
went to Paterno.
the next morning. So there's he at least did something.
He at least did something.
Yeah.
Which is like, granted, like he didn't go as far as like he should have. And it's insane to think that, like, I think you probably rationalize, like, there's no way I was seeing what I think I saw.
Yeah.
And then he's probably thinking, like, if he knows anything about wrestling, he's probably like, all right, being on the bottom doesn't mean you're losing.
Score points from this position.
Yes.
Reversal.
There's an escape. You can get 2 points for an escape.
Well, dude, when he contacted Paterno, the first thing Paterno said, if this is about a job, I'm not hiring.
Wow.
Because he thought he was going to ask for a promotion.
What was McQuery doing there?
He was a graduate assistant.
So he was
he was not-
so Paterno's like,
Not really affiliated with the team.
He was like a coach, but I don't think he had like a hired capacity.
Gotcha.
Because when Sandusky started with Penn State, he was a linebacker there, or a defensive end for 4 years. And then the year he graduated was the year Paterno came on. He worked as a graduate assistant. Okay. Bounced around a little bit, then he came back as a defensive coordinator in 77.
But went on a run.
I mean, the man knew what he was doing.
Yeah. Man, it's always crazy. Jim Jeffries used to have this phenomenal bit about Elvis Presley marrying Priscilla, Charlie Chaplin marrying his wife, and Jerry Lee Lewis marrying his cousin. Mm-hmm. And he was like, I just remember the punchline being like, the question remains, how good at something do you have to be before they allow you to be a pedophile? Because all those guys are pedophiles. And he brought up that point. I remember seeing that bit and being like, it's an excellent point. Is Sandusky, is that like...
He was it. And you ever been to State College?
No, I've driven through it.
I imagine it's like most other high-level D1 college places where it's just like, those guys are deified.
Yeah.
Like, there's nothing that they can do that I think the average person would call them out on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
No, they can... I mean, it's like, dude, if you become a coach at like Alabama, Penn State, Florida. I mean, look at all the shit that's coming out about those 08 Florida teams.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't get a DUI if you're a coach in those cities.
Yep.
I would call it borderline impossible for you. You would have to fuck up so massive that they're like, we got to call you out because they want to be like, nah, it's all right, coach.
Do you think pedophiles are now grooming themselves to get good at coaching?
Yeah, where they're like,
To get to that point, that's one of the telltale signs. It's like
because I'll tell you what Sandusky didn't do right is run a soft cover 2. I'm running a cover 3 against any kind of run and gun. And also, you go after little girls, not little boys. And you're like, oh, God, they're evolving. Like when velociraptors learned how to open the door.
When you look at him, you can tell he's working things out.
Yeah. He's solving it. Yeah, dude, it is... I mean, dude, it's like when you read about Jared from Subway, and they take pedophiles do this thing where they like take their power and then just build it up so much, and it's like an umbrella, and then they just abuse kids, and everyone's like outside of the umbrella is like, hey, we're making money off you, keep going,
right? Yeah,
and that's exactly what this was.
There's some weird associations too with the school and Second Mile, because when Sandusky finally retired in 99, and part of it was like the 98 incident where they're just like, and he realized, Paterno told him, you're not going to become the next head coach at Penn State.
Oh, really?
And that's what was the tipping point for him to just finally retire. However, in addition to his pension, they gave him a $168,000 lump sum, which was unheard of at the time for people retiring from those positions. And oddly enough, a few months after they gave him that lump sum payment, the Second Mile bought a parcel of land from the university for $168,000. So it's like you wonder how deep their association went and how deep more people were involved.
Yeah, there is probably people in this whole situation that are still very powerful that had to do some crazy like House of Cards shit.
Yeah.
To be like disassociate, hold on to it's because it's a power grab. Yeah. Universities are just like they're $1 billion industry. It's just like college football is $1 billion industry. It's just so much money coming in that they're like just keep it the fuck away from us. And Sandusky was so big. I mean, it killed Paterno.
Yeah. 2 months after like the whole shit broke, he's dead.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Of a broken heart.
Yeah.
Yes. Like, I was so mad. The way he's talking at the end where he's like, black quarterback. That's what did it? We're starting a black guy. He goes, oh, it's not the Sandusky being a pedophile? No. Of course I'm okay with that. Black quarterback. Don't tell the real reason Joe Pa died. He actually had a black quarterback a couple times, so I know. I'm just being silly.
Michael Robinson?
Yeah.
He was one of them.
They're actually doing a really cool thing. By the end of Joe Pa's career, he wasn't running shit. I read a Sports Illustrated article like before the Sandusky broke where they were like giving praise to his younger coaches because they were putting the playbook on NCAA college football. They like found a way that the players could upload it and then play and like learn the playbook. And everyone's like, oh, what a modern thing with an old school coach. And he's like letting his young coaches do it. But really, it just seemed like Joe Pa was a figurehead.
Yes.
He was just there as like, oh, the classic Joe Paterno. And he'd come out and be like, you know, but he wasn't like, run jumbo right 82-6. He was just like, there's a lot of people in my living room. And you're like, no, coach, we're playing Iowa. Like, it wasn't a sharp mind. So it makes sense because, like, my grandma busted her hip, and we had to put her in a facility. And when you take them out like that, you take them out of there. I remember my grandma got COVID like a year ago, and they were like, she was in the hospital. And I was talking to the doctors, and I was like, well, what do we do? Because she's 95. Like, do we send her? She's 95 at the time. I was like, do we send her to a retirement home, whatever? And they were like, the longer people keep their schedule in their house and stuff, the less their mind goes.
Yeah.
And so that definitely was like changed Joe Pa's life.
Right.
And his brain was like, well, I'm out.
Yeah.
Because if you watch old sideline clips of Joe Pa before he retired, he was very old on the sidelines. Which is funny to think about these players being like, man, shut the fuck up. He's like, you're not running. Derivis, look at me. You got to tackle. And he's like, man, get your old Italian ass off me, man. I'm from the south side of Philly, man. I ain't gonna talk to you. He's like, you don't care about the Lions. Like, you can't fucking, you know what I mean?
Before I tell you what I'm going to tell you, just know I had a very good reason to be at this high school football game.
Sure, dude.
But I was holding the chains because they needed 2 guys to do it.
Okay.
And I was on the sideline of a very urban team. And they had a very old white defensive coordinator.
Love it.
And he was freaking out because one of the kids had like 2 offside penalties in a row. And he throws his hat on the ground and he's kicking it up the sideline. And then one of the kids on the team goes, what the fuck is you doing?
That's so funny. That's so funny. There is nothing funnier than black people reacting to white people spazzing. White people spaz in a way that black people never have, which is, I can only say it in this sound. You've never heard a black dude make that noise. Out of frustration, that is a honky noise through and through. Only we make it. Being like, I'm so frustrated. And that's what that D coordinator is doing. And black people are like, man, this motherfucker is a dork.
Jeff, do we have any honky noises on the soundboard?
Yeah. Yeah, dude, get one. Get a honk. Get a honk frustration. Yeah. That's why we're honkies. We honk. Right? Honk, honk. And that is where the root word.
Maybe that's what the janitor heard.
Yeah.
Honky stuff.
Man, they just honky frustrated.
What's going on there? Honky noises.
Oh, man, he probably can't find a piece of paper that's important.
They play patty whack.
Good thing it'd be wet in the shower.
Yeah. Oh, man, he probably has an important document that got wet, and now he's honking. Honky's gonna honk. Yeah, dude, that's fucking hilarious. But like old white coaches trying to coach young black dudes is so funny to me.
Did you notice that picture of Nick Saban this past week where he had the double cup in his center console of his Lamborghini? It's clearly like placed there for recruitment purposes. Where kids are like, oh, this guy's cool. He sips fucking lean.
Yeah, that's it. They're like, oh, okay, all right. I see you, Coach Saban. He's like, that's the reason I'm all slowed down. It's because I'm on that lean. It costs $2,000 an ounce for some lean. He got all gold teeth. What up, Bodie?
Just delay a game penalty after delay a game penalty.
Coach, you want to call a play? He's like, he's all good, Wody. There is Coach Saban on the sidelines with his patented gold teeth. #1 recruiting class coming out of the South. Yeah, dude, it's like a disconnect. It's funny because my buddy McDaniel is getting credit in the NFL for it because he's like a young dude that relates to these guys on a way that isn't like that.
Because he's authentic.
Yeah, he's himself.
And I think that's what's winning guys over.
Yeah, he's like a weird, funny, smart dude. And he's just like, yeah, that's what I am. He's not like trying to be that thing where he's like, come on, son. Don't you want to play hard for your mother? He's like, I don't know. We could probably go make money if we do well at this. And that's what those guys are. That's what he reminds me of. That old coach that's like, America was built by guys who tried. And you're like, shut the fuck up, you dork. I never had a good coach. I never had like a good coach that was like, hey, what's up, man? Like, hey, I understand what you're going. They would always do that kind of shit.
Did you have any coaches that showered with you?
No.
I think that's more prevalent than people want to believe.
I never showered at school. That shit was gay.
Yes.
I was going to go home and shower. I don't mind driving home sweaty.
Same.
I'm not doing a post-game press conference. We got shellacked, dude. We're in the best division in football, in our high school division. We get crushed. You lose 42-7. You don't want to shower with your boys. You want to go take an Epsom salt bath and wonder why your mom doesn't go to your games. What the fuck? Dude, I just noticed your coaster. This is one of the scaredest I've ever been watching a movie.
Same, dude.
Killer Clowns from Outer Space.
Just saw it for the first time. Incredible.
I saw it at 7 years old.
Yeah.
And it freaked me the fuck out. Holy shit.
Every one of these coasters scared me as a child.
I was like, put that back on, you devilish clown.
It wasn't all the talk about kids getting fucked in the shower. It was a clown picture.
Whatever, dude.
A slow
You know what's funny, though? It doesn't affect you because you're like, yeah, that's disgusting
It's insane,
to me.
yes.
Yeah.
So there's zero, like, I don't know, man. That's like the mix of institution meeting pedophilia. It's not as bad, but it's close to like the Catholic Church scandal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what I was thinking when it happened. I was like, this is the exact same kind of cover up on a much lesser scale.
Yeah, every priest is Joe Pa, though.
Yeah.
Every
priest is like, come to my diocese. Jesus like the pop boys.
Did you go to Catholic school at all, Dan?
No, my mom was Catholic. My mom was raised Irish Catholic, and then she got married in college very young and got divorced and got excommunicated. So I was raised Episcopalian because that's what my dad was. And that's Catholic light. That's what it is. It's Catholic with divorce. Literally, that's why I was created, because the King of England was like, I want to get divorced. And so he made up Episcopalian, the Episcopal Church. But I never had any Catholic school shit, so I don't. But I get it, because you see, it's an institution. And anything that's an institution, they have these like rules and everyone follows them. And then it's like, well, that's going to lead to a lot of bad shit because you can't question it.
Yeah.
It's all through God, and you're not allowed to question God. So I never trust any religion. That's why it all seems like a business to me.
It is.
Because they go like, to a certain thing, they go like, but don't ask too much. And you go like, but isn't God all knowing and all loving and all powerful? So can't I ask all the questions and I'll have all the answers? And they're like, I don't know if you really have read the Bible. And you're like, yeah, but I'm asking natural questions. I just always have had a problem with the idea of like a bureaucracy when it comes to God. That seems strange to me.
Right.
That if God made all this cool shit, he's going to put a lame ass fucking front office. It's like, get the fuck out of here. I got to go through your secretary, suck a dick. Let me talk to the big man. You know, I think it's just, I've never trusted religion. I've never trusted religion because religion talks about God and then asks for your money. Where you're like, shouldn't you be giving me your money? Shouldn't you be helping the people? Like, my fiance and I get high and we love going to, we got Verizon cable when we moved. And there's like a block of religious channels, and we get fucking zooted.
Are they
and then
movies
turn
or
it
just?
on. What's that?
Are they movies or documentaries or
Everything? Mostly, it's like Jim Baker and his wife asking for money, and then there's like, what's the dude? There's a guy that they play as like his old preacher.
Is it Pat Robertson, that guy?
It's not Pat Robertson. Okay. It's I want to try to think of
Jerry Falwell.
It's not Falwell. It is. I gotta ask, dude. I'm gonna text her and ask her. Swaggart, Jimmy Swaggart.
Oh, Jimmy Swaggart. Yeah.
So we watch Swaggart live, dude. We watch Swaggart. We watch Swaggart live in Africa. We watch Swaggart live in Switzerland.
Yeah. Happy birthday in heaven, Jimmy Swaggart.
Live from New York. It's Swaggart.
it's Swaggart Night Live, starring a bunch of African missionaries. But he's a dude, and his kid, dude, they like show his church and shit, and you're like, I don't believe this for a second. Like, I've always said about all those Pat Robertson, all those guys, give me the Ring doorbell footage of them going to the pearly gates, because I want to see God be like, for real, for real. Because if you've ever read The Inferno or Dante's Divine Comedy, they talk about the level of hells, like the level, and like at the top is like sex and all the stuff, like the carnal shit.
Yeah.
The worst part of hell is for the people that are deceitful. Like, it's represented by a leopard for like the spots. And they say like the worst punishment in hell is reserved for those that have used their power and deceitfulness to gain and be evil. And you're like, that's all of these motherfuckers. That's Pat Robertson. That's Jimmy Swaggart. That's all these guys that are using Falwell. Dude, we were doing, one time I went to Duncan and I was walking into Sirius to do the bonfire, and fucking Joel Osteen was in the lobby.
Whoa.
Yeah, I've seen Migos, Lil Wayne, all these rappers that talk about street shit up at Sirius. I've never seen people with as many strapped security guards as Joel Osteen.
Damn.
I'm talking about dudes with semi-automatic rifles.
Holy shit.
With him, with fucking pieces on their fucking shoulder holsters, like putting him in a clearly bulletproof SUV.
Whoa.
And you're like, yeah, that's the work of God.
Yeah. They got them wangs
a
on
Jewish
them.
carpenter from Bethlehem would be like, that guy. He's a villain. That's like villain-esque. That's the only way I can describe his entrance from the lobby.
I had a Joel Osteen phase, and I even went to a live event.
That's
sick.
Yeah.
I would go to, dude, I would honestly go to a live event with you. If Osteen was touring, I would go just to see Osteen live.
Let's pull the schedule up. Where's he going to be?
I told these motherfuckers before the podcast, I went to Sweden to see Queens of the Stone Age. You
I'll definitely go to fucking Maryland to see Joel Osteen.
You think I won't go to Timonium to fucking see Osteen?
Dude, as poor as my wife and I have been throughout our lives, there was a point where we could barely afford our apartment, and I was just watching Joel Osteen every fucking week. And one of my dreams was to be able to afford a plane ticket to Houston to go to his church.
Jesus, to give him money.
To give him the money that you barely had.
Yes.
That's crazy.
Man, he got your ass, dude. I can't believe people fall for it. What was going on in your life that you were just in a low place?
I was desperate because
That's exactly.
Here's the deal.
Yeah.
Without even hearing you, I was going to bring up desperation.
Yeah.
People get to this point where they have to. It's the lotto. Same thing as the lotto.
Yeah.
Like the people that play those numbers that are like, I fucking need.
But what are you gonna win?
Money to get you out of it. The people that
by
say
giving money to these creatures.
But listen to what he always says. You got to listen to what Joel Osteen always says. He says, God's about to give you money. Just give me money, and I'll keep the line of communication open.
Oh, my God.
He's basically doing that.
Yeah, you got to invest in yourself.
Hook me up. I'll fucking talk to the guy.
Yeah.
We'll settle it. It's a hustle. It's all a hustle.
I think it's the same for impoverished people where it's like I'm doing everything I could possibly do because I worked full time and I still wasn't getting ahead. And I think it works the same as people that, you know, like serial killers. Like I do believe a lot of them when they say that they found Jesus and they have a relationship with Christ, because when you're confronted with the reality that of what you've done or what you're doing everything you can and you can't get ahead, or you've done this horrific shit and you're faced with the consequences of your action. It's kind of like the same mindset, I imagine.
Yeah.
Where it's like, there's nothing else I can do right now, and I just have to reach out to this higher power.
It's basically a trust fall.
Yeah.
You're like, I need to fall backwards, and I need someone to catch me. And religion does catch people. It does help people. I mean, my aunt Karen got out of a crack addiction by becoming a Jehovah's Witness. But that like almost did more damage than the crack, because you're like, I can't bring up birthdays around her when she was alive. I couldn't bring up a holiday. You're like, fuck. Well, fuck me. I guess I'm not 19 then. Kind of a big day.
You're wearing a birthday sash.
But I'm glad you're not smoking rock, Aunt Karen.
But I wonder where Sandusky's at with this. Like, I wonder, he's pushing 80. He's about to turn 80 next month. So I wonder if he's had a come to Jesus moment.
Or is he like, just one more shower? Mm-hmm. You really wonder if he's like, you know what would get me to shut the fuck up about Joel Osteen? Is if he gave away all of it and moved to Central America where they like, or if he moved to a country where it was clear religion was pushed on their natives, and he like tried to do better there, like building. If he did
Actually did something sincere to help people,
I would be like, damn, that was very Christ-like that he gave up all of his fucking worldly possessions and went and built a fresh water well in Africa when they didn't know about Jesus.
Yeah,
That's
Mr. Beast does more for people.
He's more Christ-like than Joel Osteen. That fucking dork.
Oh, hell, Mr. Beast.
Oh, dear Mr. Beast.
Like and subscribe.
Smash that like button, Mr. Beast. Yeah, dude, fuck that guy. Fuck all of them. But yeah, Sandusky, you wonder if he's had a moment where he's like, fuck, I'm evil. I'm very evil and I need to repent.
Dude, he had pets on the outside. His dog was named Justice.
Hilarious.
So it's like, you wonder, like, you know, what does he have in there that keeps him going? And I think his wife is still delusional. She rides out for him. There's actually Sandusky truthers, too.
Okay, well, number one, get yourself a Mrs. Sandusky.
Yeah.
If you're lucky in this life, you get a woman that rides with you.
You get a Dottie.
You get a Dottie. You get a Dottie. Yo, go full Dottie on me, baby.
And I will say this.
I'm touching kids. Got a Dottie.
I don't know what kind of videos you guys watch when your wives go to sleep, but I like Dottie's the kind of lady that ends up in a lot of the movies I like. She's a beautiful woman. And I think you could only hope to have a woman like that stands by your side.
Because she's just so blindly in love with him that she's like, my Jerry.
Yep.
Yeah.
My Jerry cared about those boys.
Yep.
And we did good work. And you're like, lady, he was fucking in the showers. How disrespectful.
To you.
You need an old black, you really do need like an old black lady to take her out for lunch and be like, Dottie, yo man, ain't cared about you ever.
In the shower talking about rhythmic slapping.
Yeah. You want to talk about rhythmic slapping? I went and saw Luther Vandross, and then I went home and my man gave me some rhythmic slapping. Yeah, you need to send her to a black hair salon. Dude, I almost want to sink my money into that, to film her going to a black hair salon and talking with the ladies. They go, girl,
Miss Dottie, your husband had about 51,000 secret loves, okay?
Yeah. Just Dottie Sandusky.
Beautiful lady. And there was an interview where she takes the reporter down into the basement where one of the kids said he got diddled.
Oh.
She's like, if you're yelling for help down here, do you think I couldn't hear that upstairs?
Oh.
The guy's like, Dottie, that's not really how molestation works.
Yeah, I don't think you go like, help. You go like, okay. Oh, all right. What are you doing? Okay. It's not supposed to get hard. What are we doing?
But I will say this, like, I don't think Sandusky, I don't believe that he thinks he did anything wrong. In this book, he mentions how he operates under what he calls Jer's Law. Which is if there's nothing illegal being done, you can be mischievous.
That's like when I excuse myself for eating more dessert past midnight. Where I go, Dan's Law, time for another cookie. That's Jer's Law. Where he goes, all right, no more shower sex.
I am a little dirty.
Oh, I'm going to have one more cookie before bed.
Oh, I got hot fudge all over me. Gotta go wash it off over at school.
Yeah, that pudding wrestling got me all whipped up. Jesus Christ. He was mocking he's like mocking the authorities.
Yeah.
So he's 80. How long is he's in prison the rest of his life?
He will be. The earliest that he's eligible for parole, he's got to be in for at least 30 years. And he was convicted in 2012.
So the earliest he can get out is 2042.
Yeah. But he's 80.
Conveniently, the year that whites become the minority. I'm starting to string together my own conspiracy theory.
This is about to take a turn on this.
And after that, Dan Soder was no longer to be able to be booked at any popular comedy clubs.
Oh, dude, there's a Sandusky truther documentary. It starts off as a Joe Pa truther documentary, which I think you can make more of a case for that than you can for Sandusky, but it's like the third frame of the documentary. It starts off with a Winston Churchill quote where it says, a lie can get halfway around the world before the truth has a chance to put its pants on.
Yeah, well, maybe not use that quote.
Of all the quotes.
Maybe we don't put that quote out there. I would want to kill someone. If I was a victim of Jerry Sandusky's and I saw that, the murderous rage I would feel. Where you'd be like, you're a fucking idiot.
Yeah.
And they're like, nah, bro. You're not seeing the bigger picture.
You're just a pawn on the board.
Katie and I always make fun of the movies that are like thrillers. We like making fun of bio movies because they always have the line, that's it, that's the song. And the second thing we always joke around about is in thrillers where they go, you don't get it. This thing is so much bigger than you. And if I was told that as a Jerry Sandusky victim, I would fucking clothesline. I would take your head off. I'd be so fucking mad. These victims, were the victims at all acknowledged or compensated by the University of Pennsylvania?
I think it's still ongoing. So for the criminal trial, there were 10 victims that came forward, and he was convicted of 45 of 48 counts against them. And the most severe was involuntary deviant sexual intercourse, which anything other than dick.
That's what I lobster tube. That's what I type into. I'm like deviant sex. Oh, whoa! All right.
But I think there were dozens more that have filed civil suits.
Okay.
And we're into the hundreds of millions of dollars that Penn State has settled.
So they did settle.
Yeah.
All right.
Including one of his kids. His son Matt filed a suit against him, and then he also has another son. Fuck, what is his kid's name?
Suing your own dad for molesting you.
Yeah.
Isn't
Jeff actually got popped for some very funny reasoning behind. Hear me out, Jake.
all right?
So he got arrested.
Jake, I know where you're going in your head, but chill out.
So he got busted down in Florida. He was trying to solicit nudes from a teenage girl. She alerted her mom. You with me still?
Yeah.
So she alerted the mom.
Barely legal bodies. Whatever.
And this Sandusky was like, when she contacted him, he's like, look, she already has nudes out there. I'm trying to show her what to look out for, how guys are going to proposition her for nudes.
That's so funny. No. This is a self-defense lesson.
Yeah. It's a learning moment for all of us.
Yeah. You're not picking up my teachings.
This is pussy karate.
You know how like the kids of mafia bosses or like they always suck.
Yeah.
Like they're always like Gotti's son or
like
whatever.
Caden Gotti.
Yeah, they always like blow at what they do. They're never like awesome or as good as their dads. That's probably Sandusky's kid where he's like,
You're so bad at this, Jeff.
I don't know. He's like, I don't know. Dad was too busy fucking in the shower to tell me what to do. But that is, that's like, they're all adopted, and he abused how many of his kids?
Wow. At least one has come out as saying that he was molested by Sandusky.
And then Dottie took Sandusky's side over her kid.
That's crazy.
Jesus.
Oh, fuck. That's got to be heartbreaking when your mom's like, no.
Oh, one other thing I want to add. So in regards to the youth center that the Sanduskys ran when he was a kid, he mentioned some of his favorite people from there. And he's recalling fondly in the book all these different memories. He says there were 3 retarded brothers who used to hang out there, and the oldest one was named Big Ern. And he could never get Big Ern to follow him the way that the other kids would. He said there were times where I'd be wrestling other kids and Big Ern would never want any parts of it. And he says he believes it's when he started a relationship with Dottie that Big Ern turned on him. It could have been the molestation, who knows. However, the 2 other brothers, he said they would referee basketball games. And he's like, they knew all the signals, but they would never call them at the right times.
That's so funny. You go, really? Traveling? I don't even have the ball. What do you want? Sorry, you just found out. You go, I'm the least amount of minutes on the team. He's like, you got teed up. That's you being teed up by a retarded guy.
You're covered in pudding. What did I do?
Yeah, what? He goes, sorry, go to the line. You fucked up.
Where's the ref?
Dude, I'd be so mad. I'd be so mad if we lost the game because there was 2 retarded refs. Because like you want to say that about refs, but then you're like, no, he's actually mentally handicapped.
He's being distracted by the mascot.
Yeah. You know, why do birds can't walk? And you go, yeah, I don't know. I just got rolled in the lane. This guy just put his shoulder in my chest.
He's at the fucking snack stand ordering a hot dog.
Hey, hello, you're inbounding. You need the ball.
He still has the ball.
Tries to pay with the whistle.
Fouls on number 5, 2 hot dogs.
It's so funny though. He's like, "You're fucking Dottie."
Oh, you gotta switch on it. Let me go with it.
There it is. Sorry, I'm being silenced. The board of trustees is after me.
One other interesting fact about Sandusky that really struck me as odd was he didn't drink.
That's always, listen, here's what I always say. I only trust people that don't drink after they've drank too much.
Okay.
If you went out and partied your dick off and now you can't drink, you've seen the other side, brother.
Yeah.
If you had parents that were alcoholics and you don't drink, I trust that. But if you just like, nah,
Yeah, that's sus.
something's
so
going
weird.
on.
Very strange.
Yeah.
Something.
His case, he was never a
Dude,
drinker.
even in fucking college, there's a story in here. There's multiple stories about him being a college student at Penn State. He's on the fucking football team.
Yeah.
And Penn State is good at that time, too. He's driving back to his hometown. He and his boys, fucking Benny Biceps and Paulie Bird, would drive around starting water balloon fights with kids.
Dude, he was always,
That
that was
is-
always his thing.
He's always on. That guy.
Can you imagine getting pegged by a water balloon by a Penn State linebacker? And you're like, what? And he's like, huh? And you're like, dude, I'm not fucking with you. I'm a child. You're a D1 athlete. A D1 athlete throwing a balloon at you, and you're like, okay. Dude, yeah, he's a piece of shit.
From day one.
Has anyone tried to fucking kill him in prison?
I don't think so, man. You don't really hear a lot out of him.
Is he like super protective custody in prison? Like,
No.
I would think, dude, the most fucking prolific pedophile outside of the Catholic Church, perhaps.
Yeah. Yeah.
Would be fucking toast within a couple years in jail.
I don't know what his arrangement
Prison
is.
football team just got much better.
Oh my God, Jake! You go. Their defense is fucking. I mean, good luck. Good luck running the ball. Good luck throwing the ball. These guys, they got. I don't know. This guy just knows his defense.
He's living out the longest yard right now.
Yeah, it really would be funny if that's how important football is in our culture. Where there's like a Hannibal Lecter meeting with like him and like Sirianni, where Sirianni's like, "We need you for the playoffs," and he's like, "Hello, Nicholas. Your defense isn't doing well with linebackers. I've seen you sign Shaq.
Is the clapping still rhythmic,
Yeah.
Clarice?
Does Dak Prescott still pick up the first down on broken third downs?"
Dude, an old boss of mine, he's a multimillionaire. He's a prominent Penn State alum.
Yeah.
He says that Sandusky still has influence in the football program. He'll watch the games and he'll submit notes
No.
Yep.
From prison?
from prison.
What? And James, who's the coach at Penn State?
James Franklin.
Yeah, came from Vanderbilt. He was Nate loved him, and then now he's at Penn State. What is he like getting facts?
Yeah, willingly accepting fucking.
It's got to be like when your grandma gives you a cake or something. It's like, yeah, I'll definitely eat this. Yes, thank you.
You know what would be funny though is if it actually was good advice. If he goes like, "Fuck,"
Yes,
he like reads the film. and
it's
he's
child
like,
molester Con Air.
Good.
He goes, "This guy knows his shit." You just get
Child molester Con Air. It's like, all right, what do you want? I want an unlimited supply of baby carrots and cocktail wieners.
Yeah. Send me a case of Capri Suns.
And send me another case of Suns and Capris.
I need blues. Yeah. I want dirty underwear and all of the Blues Clues on a flash drive. That's my background jerk off mode. Dude, that is so fucking gross. But it also shows you how awesome football is.
It really is. It brings us all
It's the
together,
greatest
man.
sport.
Yeah.
It really is the greatest sport.
Oh man, what a ton of fun this was, man. Dan, I can't thank you enough, brother.
Dude,
this was so much fucking fun.
Was
man.
everything I hoped it to be and more.
Hell
Got to try Corona Zero. Got to talk about rhythmic slaps in the shower. No, this was fun as hell, dude. Thanks for having me, guys.
Thank you for
Thanks
coming.
for coming
Yeah.
on. You're so fucking funny, bro.
Yeah, you were the
thank you,
fucking man. Thank
I
you, brother.
appreciate it.
Thank you.
You're the man.
You guys rule.
Yeah.
All right, thank you guys for checking out. Do you want to promote anything before you go?
DanSoder.com. You can also listen to my podcast, Soder. It's only 30 minutes, so it doesn't take up too much time.
Hell yeah. Thank you guys for checking this out. If you want more Little Stinkers, you can check us out at patreon.com/Little Stinkers. That's LILSTINKERS. $4 a month, $40 for the year. We're doing fun stuff there all the time. We're putting Jake back in the foam pit.
Yeah, it's
next
finally
month or
happening.
February.
Yeah.
Dan, Jake was stuck in a foam pit and had to be
Damn it.
rescued.
So you're
So
going back in?
Yeah, I'm going
Yeah.
back in.
Face your fears?
Yeah.
Good luck, dude.
Thank you. Thank
God
you very
bless.
much.
Is it 2024?
It's 2024, yeah.
New Year's. Time to get over some new fears.
That's right, man. Yeah.
Let's get out, dude.
Yeah, thank you.
Let's call it New Fears Eve.
then also before we go, I just want to mention our Christmas album. Go to onperks.com. You can check out the Christmas album we put together. Serial killer themed. It will be the funniest, most fucked up thing you listen to this holiday season.
And please come see me in Austin in January 26th, 27th. I will be at Cap City's Small Room, baby.
Yeah,
Come out.
There
baby.
we go. New Year's Eve, I'll be at Helium, Philly, so come through if you're in the area.
All right. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you next time. Later.
Bye.
Thanks.
There's so much fucked up shit to get into.
Little Stinkers.